Friends, in this lecture, we will learn about how to find inverse Z transform by using residue method. So residue method, the Z transform of sequence X of n is given by, so this is the definition of Z transform. X of Z equal to summation n equal to minus infinite to infinite, X of n Z power minus n. So this is the definition of Z transform. How you will find X of n from this X of Z? By using residue, right? So X of n, which is equal to summation, limit is here all poles of X of Z. Note it down. Here summation limit is all poles of X of Z. Inside the summation, residues of X of Z, that is given X of Z, into Z power of n minus 1, into Z power of n minus 1, right? So here residue means residue of X of Z, no? So it means that is the separate formula for to find out the residue of X of Z. So that is X of Z, residue of X of Z, it can be written as, note it down, this is the formula for you, 1 divided by m minus 1 factorial. 1 by m minus 1 factorial. You can allow the limit here, that is limit Z tends to A, right? So inside the bracket you write down differentiation, that is d power m minus 1 divided by dz m minus 1 into z minus a, that is because it is poles, right? So z minus a, because here it is z tends to a, no? So there is poles. So I write down here poles, z minus a whole power m x of z, then z power n minus 1, right? So this is the formula for to calculate the inverse Z transform by using residue method, right? So here m, it represent order of the poles, at Z equal to A. Okay, so this is the formula for to find out the inverse Z transform by using residue method. Okay, let us see one problems. Example 1, find X of n using residue method. If X of Z equal to Z by Z minus 1 into Z minus 2, right? So first thing is you have to find out the poles. How many poles are given in your X of Z? Okay, just you find out that. So here in this transfer function, this X of Z, here you have two poles are there, Z minus 1, Z minus 2, right? Any function, system function, the numerator part, it represent zeros of the system. Denominator part, it represent poles of the system. Okay, got the point? Numerator part, it represent zeros of the system. Denominator part, it represent poles of the system. So here in given X of Z, here we have the two poles. One is Z minus 1 and another one is Z minus 2. So find out the values here. So Z minus 1 equal to 0, Z equal to 1. Z minus 2 equal to 0, Z equal to, here mistake is there. So this is 2. Z equal to 2, right? First you find out the poles. Okay, first poles. You find out the residue for first poles. And then you find out the residue for second poles, right? So this is the rule. First thing is you have to find out the residue for first pole and find out the residue for second pole. Suppose if we have one more poles is there, you have to find out residue for third pole also, right? So now I find out the residue for first pole. That is if Z equal to 1, I take down this pole, Z equal to 1. At m, put m equal to 1. Why I put here m equal to 1 means because m, it represent order of the poles. Here the order of the pole is Z minus 1. The order is 1, first order, isn't it? Order is first order. So I put here m equal to 1, right? Write down the formula. So the formula is residue equal to 1 by m minus 1 factorial, limit Z tends to 1, d power m minus 1. Here we have m minus 1. So m minus 1 into dz power of m minus 1. into poles z minus 1 into x of z power n minus 1, right? So this is your formula. Here m equal to 1, so I substitute here 1 minus 1, it becomes 0. Here 1 minus 1, it becomes 0. Z minus 1 whole power 1, that is z minus 1 whole power m. No, here you get m. So I put here z minus 1, 1. X of z power n minus 1. By using this formula, I substitute all this condition here. Here also m equal to 1, I substitute here 1 minus 1, it became 0. 1 by 0 factorial, you got it. 1 by 0 factorial. So 1 by 0 factorial is nothing but 1. 1 by 0 factorial is 1. So I omit this term. Okay. So 1 into limit z is to 1. So here anything for 0, order of power is 0. So value should be 1 only. So you get only z minus 1. That pole into x of z. So this part is represented as x of z. X of z is your question. Z by z minus 1 into z minus 2 into z power n minus 1. Okay. Here in this limit, this poles z minus 1 and z minus 1 should cancel out. So finally you get only z by z minus 2 and z power n minus 1 inside this part. So outside you allow the limit z tends to 1. Then substitute here z tends to 1 here. So it become 1 by 1 minus 2 into 1 power 1 minus n minus 1. Okay. 1 power n minus 1. So what do you get? 1 by minus 1. It's nothing but minus 1. 1 power n minus 1. So it can be written as minus 1, 1 power n minus 1. So minus 1 into 1, minus 1. So minus 1 power n. So this is your answer. Okay, minus 1 power n. Next thing is, you find out the second pole, residue for second pole. That is if z equal to 2, but order m equal to 1, but here a which is equal to 2, isn't it? That is z equal to 2. So residue of 1 by 0 factorial limit z tends to 2, d power 0, dz power 0, z minus 2 into x of z power n minus 1. So here you substitute z minus 2 only here. X of z is z by z minus 1 into z minus 2. I erase this written. Then z power n minus 1. Now you substitute the limit value here. This pole and this pole should cancel out. So you can get 2 power. That is z equal to. So 2 minus 2, it became 0. Sorry, here it will be cancelled out now. Here this term should be cancelled out. So finally you get z by z minus 1. So I substitute here 2. 2 by 2 minus 1 is 1 into 2 power n minus 1. Okay. Now the answer became 2 power n. Okay. How I will get this answer? 2 into 2, 4. 4. You don't put here 4 because 2 into, it represents 2 into 2 power n minus 1. Okay. Here the power is 1. Right? So the base is equal. It means you just add the exponent term. It means 2 to the power of n minus 1 plus 1. Okay, minus 1 and plus 1 cancel out. So you can get only 2 to the power of n. This is how you get this answer, 2 power n. Right? So sum of this residue, because here in our term you have 2 poles only available. So you find out the residue of first pole and residue of second pole. Finally, you return a sum of this residue. Okay. So first one is minus 1 whole power n. Second one is plus 2 power n into u of n. Unit step function. So I write on u of n. This is how you have to find out this residue of x of z. Right? If you have any doubt here, you want to solve more any one more problem. Okay, no problem. I'll solve here. Next problem is find x of n using residue of x of z. If x of z is z plus 1 divided by z minus 2 divided by z plus minus 3. Okay. The first step is you have to find out the poles. So here you have the 2 poles are there. One is z equal to and another one is z equal to 3. Z equal to 3. You just equating this pole equal to 0. Okay. You equating the 0, you find out the z value. Z minus 2 equal to 0. z minus 2 equal to 0. From this, you find out z value. That is z equal to 2. Okay. Similarly, you have to calculate the z minus 3 equal to 0, z equal to 3. So this is. Next, first thing is, first step will be you find out the residue for first pole. Right. If z equal to 2, find out the first pole. So residue formula is, this is the equation number 1. That is residue formula. You just note it down. Residue equal to 1 by m minus 1 factorial. Limit z tends to a. D to the power of m minus 1 divided by dz m minus 1 into z minus a whole power m. Here only you have m. X of z power n minus 1. So up to this you have very easy for remember it. This is easy. X of z power n minus 1. So before that, you just m minus 1 times differentiation of your poles. Okay, don't get any confusion. M minus 1 times differentiation of your poles. So here what is the poles? Here pole is z minus a. General pole is z minus a. So m poles are available here. M poles are available here. It means m is represent order of the pole. Okay, so I put here z minus a whole power m. So it means order is here m. Okay. Next thing is you just differentiation your poles. So how many times you have differentiated? M minus 1 times differentiated. Because your pole order is 1 means you take m minus 1 times differentiation. So d power m minus 1 divided by dz power m minus 1 into z minus a m power n. Okay. So now it is easy for you to remember it, right? Inside the bracket. And then you can allow the limit value here, right? Because here pole is z tends to a, no? So I just allow the limit here. So limit z tends to a. And then before that, you add factorial term. You add the factorial term. That is 1 by m minus 1 factorial term. Here order is m minus 1, no? So this much times you have to take this factorial. So 1 by m minus 1 factorial. So this is the easy way for to write down the residue formula. Don't get any confused here. Okay, you start it from right hand side. That is right hand side to left hand side. Okay, so left hand side, right hand side, inside the bracket you write down x of z power n minus 1. This is more or less similar to your definition of z transform, isn't it? X of n equal to x of z power n, you write it down. For the similar to write down here also x of z power n minus 1. So before that you find out this pole value. Write down this pole. So here pole is z minus a. Okay, order is m. So z minus a whole power m. Then you want to differentiation this term. So for that, yeah, how many times differentiation? M minus 1 times differentiation. So d power m minus 1 divided by, why I put here dz? Because our differentiation is with respect to z. So I put here dz. So dz m minus 1. So close the bracket. And then write down substitute, allow the limit value here. So here limit, here pole is z minus a. So z tends to a. So then before that you just add the factorial term. So here the power is m minus 1. So 1 divided by m minus 1 factorial. Am I clear? So this is the 2 times. If you want write down this formula, automatically you can able to know this for a result, right? Residue. So now put m equal to 1 because here order is 1. So I put here order is 1. A value is here 1 because z minus a. This is a. Okay. So a is 2, right? Now residue of 1 by 1 minus 1 0 factorial. So 1 by 0 factorial is 1. So limit z tends to a is here 2. So I put here 2. Then d power m minus 1 is 0. So d power 0 divided by dz power 0. Z minus 2 whole power 1. X of z power n minus 1. Carefully listen here. I just substitute the parameter here. That is m equal to 1 and a equal to 2 here. Right. Now 1 by 0 factorial is 1. So you omit it. So remaining term is limit z tends to 2. So here differentiation 0 times differentiation. No? So same answer only got it here because anything power 0 value should be 1. So z minus 2 whole power n is 1 is z minus 2 into x of z. X of z is question. So given problem is x of z is z plus 1 divided by z minus 2 into z minus 3. I substitute here. Then into z power n minus 1. Now inside this bracket term, these two terms are equal. So I cancel out. So finally, you just substitute this limit value here. So z plus 3 instead of z, I substitute here 2. So 2 plus 1, it became 3. So 2 minus 3, it became minus 1. So here is that, so 2 to the power of n minus 1. Okay, so here I write down minus 3 into 2 to the power of n minus 1. Right, minus 3, 2 to the power of n minus 1. Suppose here in base, these two base values should be equal, means you just add the exponent term. But here in this problem, the base is not equal. Separate value, minus 3 into 2 power n minus 1. So no need to add here. In previous problem and all, here the base is equal. So you just write down the common base and exponent and take down the exponent value should be the added value. Isn't it? Add up this two exponent power value. But here minus 3, it represent the base is different. So no need to add the exponent here. Right. So minus 3 into 2 to the power of n minus 1. This is your result. Right. Let us check the answer here. Yeah. Keep it as it is. Minus 3, 2 to the power of n minus 1. So similar way calculate for second pole. So second pole is if z equal to 3. If z equal to 3. Here order is 1, a equal to 3. Substitute this condition in equation number 1. That is 1 by 0 factorial. Limit z tends to 3. D power 0, dz power 0. Z minus 3 whole power 1. X of z power n minus 1. Now z minus 1, 3 into z minus 3 should be cancelled out. Right. Now you substitute the limit value here. When I substitute here limit value, what do you get? Right. Z plus 1. So 3 plus 1, it became 4. 3 plus 1 is 4. Divided by 3 minus 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. So 1 into z is 3. So I put here 3 power n minus 1. Okay. So your result become 4 times 4 into, right, 3 whole power n minus 1. This is your result. So final result you write down. So final result is, here I write down this following result. So therefore result is sum of the residues of the poles. Okay, sum of the residues of the poles. So answer become x of n, which is equal to, because here inverse is a transform, no, definitely your final result should be comes under the x of n only. So x of 1, which is equal to n equal to a residue of these two poles. So the first one is minus 3 into 2 to the power of n minus 1 plus 4 into 3 to the power of n minus 1. Okay, into u of n minus 1. Right. So this is your result for residue of the given x of z. Okay, am I clear? So residue is easy for you. Don't get any confused in that. Right. So far we have discussed about, in previous lecture we have discussed about long division method and by using partial fraction method to find out the inverse z transform. In this lecture we will learn about the how to find out inverse z transform by using residue method. So in this I concluded my topic. Next we move on to the second topic. If you have any doubt here. Okay. So the second topic will be the DTFT. So in unit 4, I just giving you the introduction here. Right. In unit 4, the very important topic is DTFT and Z transform. Okay. Last 4 classes we had discussed only about the Z transform. Why I giving that more time for to find out the Z transform? Because in Z transform you have the 9 different properties are available. So from this you can get one question. Okay, that is write any 4 properties of Z transform or explain discuss about the properties of Z transform, or specifically they are asking the in Z transform properties. Right, state and prove the following properties. Subdivision 1 linearity, subdivision 2 scaling, subdivision 3 differentiation, initial value theorem, final value theorem, Parseval's theorem, like that also asking. So for that I will giving the more time for to spend the more time for to discuss the properties. And second one is problems, how to find the Z transform problem. Okay, so Z transform problem is only the way is just you substitute the definition of Z transform, that is x of z equal to summation x of n z power minus n. That's it. But inverse Z transform only, you have the three different methods. One is a long division method, partial fraction method, and a residue method. Okay. Now, in upcoming lectures, I will take three more classes as for DTFT. Okay. What and all we discussed under the Z transform. Similar way, you have to calculate the DTFT, that is discrete time Fourier transform. Okay. So the difference between the Z and the DTFT is, okay, put Z equal to e power j omega. That's it. Otherwise, both are same. Okay, once you thorough in Z transform method, DTFT is just you change the notation. That's it. Okay, so that is the relationship is between the Z transform and the DTFT is just put Z equal to e to the power of j omega. E to the power of j omega. Put it out this omega. That is small omega. Okay, this represents the discrete omega, digital filter, right? Put Z equal to g omega, right? You can get the DTFT. See, the formula is DTFT of x of n, that is Fourier transform of discrete time signal. It meaning is DTFT is Fourier transform of discrete time signal. Okay, in second unit we have discussed about Fourier transform also, isn't it? Fourier transform also discussed in second unit. But here the Fourier, their Fourier transform is applied for continuous time signal. Okay, but here in this unit, Fourier transform is applied for discrete time signal. Okay, that is discrete time Fourier transform. Discrete time Fourier transform. So formula is here capital X of e power j omega. That is frequency domain. X of e power j omega is frequency domain. So which is equal to summation n equal to minus infinity to infinite x of n e power minus j omega. Okay, see, is a transform x of n. I will show the relation here. Okay, is the transform of x of n. So is the transform of x of n, so which is equal to x of capital X of z, capital X of z. So which is equal to summation n equal to minus infinite to plus infinite, because it is considered as bilateral Z transform. So I put minus infinite to plus infinite. Inside the summation, you put it on x of n, that is given discrete time signal. So multiply with the z power minus n. Z power minus n. So this is the definition of Z transform. Now DTFT of Z transform, that is DTFT of x of n. So which is equal to, what is the condition? Once you know this formula, you just substitute, put z equal to e power j omega here. So x of e power j omega summation n equal to minus infinite infinite x of n. Instead of z, I substitute here e power j omega. But here already we have minus, so I put here minus e to the power of minus j omega n. That's it. Okay. So only change the notation is z equal to e power j omega. Right. Now let us find the inverse Z transform formula. So inverse DTFT. So x of n, which is equal to inverse DTFT of x of e power j omega equal to, formula is 1 by 2 pi, 1 over the period of 2 pi times integral over the limit is minus pi to plus pi x of e power j omega, question term x of e power j omega is comes here, into e to the power of j omega. Here summation, the exponent term is comes under minus sign, but in integral, when it comes at integration part, it becomes plus. So e to the power of j omega. This is the changes here. Okay, so e to the power of j omega n. So our integration is with respect to omega. So I put here omega, d omega. Here for n varies between minus infinite to infinite. So this is also easy for you. Okay, so 1 by 1 by, once again I repeat, x of n, which is equal to 1 by 2 pi integral minus pi to pi x of e power j omega into e power plus j omega n into d omega. Okay, let us see the one problem under this topic. Right, find the DTFT of following signals. Okay, discrete time Fourier transform of following signals. X of n equal to del n, x of n equal to u of n, x of n equal to a to the power of n, u of n. Okay, now in this lecture I will solve only one problem. So remaining two problems you take it as a homework problem for you. X of n equal to u of n, x of n equal to a power n into u of n. Okay, first let us see x of n equal to del of n. So this del, it represents the impulse function. Del, it represents impulse function. You know the graph for del of n, isn't it? So here n, so 0. Here graph is drawn between del of n versus n. So when the signal is said to be valid means the signal, it will define only at n equal to 0. Only at n equal to 0. That is answer 1. Otherwise it is 0. Otherwise it is 0. So I write down this unit impulse function in mathematical representation. This is mathematical representation. Del of n equal to 0 for n not equal to 0. See, for n not equal to 0, it is 0. When del equal n equal to 0, the signal is defined here. That is 1. Okay. Now write down the formula. X of e power, you write down this formula, DTFT formula. X of e power j omega equal to, okay, summation x of n e to the power of minus j omega n. Okay. Now in this formula, you substitute x of n value. Here x of n is del of n. So I substitute here del of n e to the power of minus j omega n. Okay. So, but here in definition, he take it as minus infinite to infinite. But when the signal is said to be valid here, only at n equal to 0. Otherwise, it is 0. Right? I substitute here n equal to 0 here, del of 0. Okay. What del of 0? So del of 0 into e to the power of 0. Okay. Del of 0 value is 1 because del of 0 is value is 1 here. So 1 into e power 0. E power 0 value is always 1. So the result should be 1. Okay. So no need to expand the remaining summation because the remaining summation and all, it became 0 only. So 0 into anything 0. So I omit it. So only I will take down n equal to 0 value only. Right? So answer should be 1. X of e power j omega value is 1. So dtft of x of n, that is dtft of del of n, which is equal to 1. Okay. This is how you have to find out the DTFT problems. Right? If you have any doubt here. Okay. So you find out this u of n answer and a power n to u of n answer. So these two will be taken as your homework problem. So within this, I conclude my topic.